on their because of the enemy. I think every citizen of the country, without any questions, even proudly join the military effort or effort. Right? I think that kind of sort of attitude, I think, completely changed. After Vietnam War, people always, as you mentioned, always raise question, why? Nowadays, Afghanistan or Iran, as Iraq, in this case also, you see, people often used to ask, why? Then, another thing, concept of environment. When I was young, nobody talked about environment, importance of environment. Then later about the 20th century, many people nowadays, including leaders, they say have to sort of think, have to sort of say, right, taking care about the environment. That I think, in principle, the concept of nonviolence also increasing. Perhaps I think in early 20th century, perhaps I think some people consider Mahatma Gandhi's sort of nonviolent sort of method. Some people may feel that's passive, right? Passive and a sign of weakness. Nowadays, I think like Nelson Mandela, the nonviolence now actually, because of the implement in political freedom struggle, and successful. So I think the concept of nonviolence also now much stronger. Then another thing, in the past, science and faith simply something to different sort of way of approach. Now I think the quantum physics, you see, these give us a new sort of look, or the mind, also some very important sort of element, important role. And then many scientists now begin to feel peace of mind is very important factor for good health. So some scientists say healthy physical, healthy body and a healthy mind very close. So even some scientists, genuine, respected, knowledgeable scientists, you see, they talk now more about mind, importance of mind. So within my lifetime, you see, there are sort of science, progress, certain things which now today, something sort of reality. I think in early part of the 20th century, I think no one dreaming that. So these not come from religious or teaching, but through our own experience. I think humanity in 20th century, I think a lot of suffering, a lot of violence. So through that way, people gain more experience. Violence never solves problem. Only way to solve problem is through talk, dialogue. So again, as I mentioned earlier, respect others, even your enemy. As a human brothers and sisters, they also have right to achieve their happiness, their goal. So here we have to sort of develop concept, entire 7 billion human beings are one human family. So the concept of we, entire world is part of we. There's too much emphasis due to religious faith, due to national interest or some other things, create strong sort of the concept we and they. Through that way, even within family, if you make sort of distinction between husband, wife, or parent and children, we, I, they, then gradually develop sort of jealousy. Jealousy brings distrust. Distrust brings frustration. Frustrations eventually develop violence. So respect others as a human being. They also need happy life. If it's necessary, we have to sort of share something to them. It's very worthy. So others' happiness is one's own happiness. Others' suffering is also one's own suffering. So here I think in education field, I think in ancient time, I think we Tibetans, like we, remain behind the Himalayan sort of mountains. Don't care what happened other side. I think perhaps American also, I think in the past, what happened in Europe, okay, doesn't matter like that, I think. Now that reality completely changed now. Something happened there, effect here also. So that clearly sort of shows oneness of humanity. So you have to take care about well-being of others, physically very far, but reality, part of us. So I think in education, we need, this is not much effect, it's just a few talks. But in education sort of system, I think we should introduce some lesson, oneness of humanity. And any problem within that have to solve through talk. So that kind of concept, that kind of way of thinking should be part of the children's mind. Through that way, next generation, of course, my life will not see, but these young people, I often used to telling people, oh, maybe too long.
I'm not interrupting you.
So I usually used to telling those young people, I think most of us here, I usually call our generation belongs to 20th century. You may be in 21st century, maybe. You may be saying, in any way, you see those people whose sort of age below 30, below 20, no question. These people, generation of 21st century. My age, now 77 year old. So I belong 20th century. That century gone. So we, like me, now ready to say bye-bye. So now this young generation,